Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope. And tonight, we are going big. We are going huge. We are going rather golden, as I have assembled the two most golden people in my life. One way or another, they're like a goddess or a god, and they're goddess. They just make me feel like a humble little servant. I don't know where I'm going with this. But as always, I'll start off with the lovely lady on my right. It is Michelle. How's it going, Michelle?
Hey, good. It's freezing in Sydney. Freezing. Had enough.
Yeah. And I've got a question to ask you though. Have you been able to acquire any Australia versus the world buffs yet?
No.
No?
Not
Well,
yet.
I might have beaten you to the chase because I've actually made my own Australian buff out of my old pajama shorts. I'm pretty sure I've washed them, so it should be fine.
Oh,
but yes, we're here talking about Team Australia, and I had to bring on someone else who's really golden, coming all the way from South Africa. It is our boy, Mr. Richard. How's it going, brother?
I'm good. It's like 11 a.m. in South Africa. It's also cold for some reason, and I can't wait to just fucking go out to the beach and have fun. No jokes.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty envious for you guys, actually, because it's been raining all day, but in Auckland, when it rains, it's just hot and muggy and everything's just rubbish. Yeah.
New Zealand.
Like it's more colder when the sun is out than when it rains. Like where else in the bloody world does that happen? But we're here, guys, to talk about the golden god of Survivor. And Michelle, give us a quick rundown. What is the golden god's career leading up to this point in reality TV?
Jeez. Okay. He started off with a part or a spot in, I think, Australia's Top Model way back in, I think, 2002 or 3. And then he's been modeling basically everywhere for everyone, huge people. And then he just got onto Australian Survivor. And I think because of his connections and the way he looks, it was very easy to put him on. I don't know whether he was whether he actually applied or whether he was sought after. I think he was probably recruited. And then it's just been skyrocketing since then. I mean, he went on Survivor and then he was on The Apprentice here. He did the second Survivor and then he's been on, well, obviously Deal or No Deal Island. But, he's just been really busy over in America doing bits and pieces. He's done Getaway, which is a travel show here in Australia. He's done bits on that. After he won Deal or No Deal Island, he actually went off to Asia and filmed bits and pieces for Getaway, which haven't been on yet. Yeah, that's basically.
How exciting. But Richard, let's not forget, he came into Champions vs. Contenders, was one of the most dominating players in that season, returned straight away for All-Stars, where at the time, and probably to this day, still one of the most dominant winners in Australian Survivor.
Yeah.
And then he obviously wins Deal or No Deal Island with the highest network television prize in 9.2 Australian million, is it, Michelle?
Roundabout, yeah.
Yeah, around about then in Australian dollars. And now he's here for Australia versus the world, Richard. Are you excited to see him make the cast?
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. One thing about David is that he's going to make a show, whether it's showing off his pics or giving us great confessionals or having 3 idols or just making people look like idiots. I don't know how he does it. Maybe it's because he's handsome or something, but he's amazing. He's always a good player to watch.
Yeah, and just some cheeky comments I want to read out. So he learned about Survivor from Sarah, another person who we'll be talking about quite shortly. He hosted his own show too.
Yeah, Rush. So it was sort of like a travel show. It wasn't too bad. There were teams of 4, I think, Ronnie, and they had to do a certain task, but they landed in a place and they were blindfolded. They didn't know where they were. So all of a sudden they had to take off their blindfold and they were in the middle of some festival in some country. They had to work out where they were and how to get to where they needed to get to. So I thought it was quite a clever little show, but it didn't do very well. So they only had 1 season.
Yeah. Oh, Well, that kind of sucked because, like, was it very similar to like the Amazing Race almost then? If, like,
Not really. Not really. Only in the fact that it was a travel show and they had to do some things, but very far removed from Amazing Race.
Okay. And his first season was probably the biggest character, which is impressive since Luke returned on that season too. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess let's talk about some of his antics, Michelle. So he made a fake idol. Yeah, the popcorn, the moment that went viral, he's just stuffing his face in with popcorn. He made a fake idol and switched it for a real idol, which who the bloody hell, can manage to.
That was Sean. Was that Sean? I think.
Yeah, that was with Sean.
Yeah. Like, why would Sean swap an idol? Like, I can't remember the conversation, but you have to be a really persuasive person. What? Like, why? I would say, why am I going to swap with you? I'm not going to swap with you. Why?
Yeah,
we both got one.
I think the weird rule about that idol was that the only way it works is if you swap it with the person from the other tribe. So I think it was
that's it.
David made the fake one and then swapped. Yeah, so that's how it worked.
I can't remember what his idol looked like. Did his idol look any good?
I'll probably quickly search it up. Yeah, it definitely had a skull.
It looked like
David fake idol, but yeah, and also he survived a 7-2 minority as well without playing a single idol as well alongside Luke Toki, and then comes back for All Stars. He's just so likable. Yeah. I'm trying to find David fake idol. It's given me every single fake idol in American Survivor. No one cares about American Survivor, guys.
Are they giving you the stick as well?
Not a stick. I'm getting a lot of Jay, a lot of Ben from Ben Dreegbergen, and a lot of stuff from the new era. And that's really it. Yeah, I can't find his fake idol, sadly. But all I know is that it definitely had the skull.
Yeah,
and then he was voted out with an idol in that season.
Yeah,
and then he came back for the second season and had two idols. Like, he was the first one who'd had two idols at the same time.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he stole the second idol from Phoebe as well. And he was running around pretending to try and find it. It was just so good. But Michelle, his legacy doesn't stop there. He obviously wins Deal or No Deal Island as well. A lot of the cast may not know he won Deal or No Deal Island.
Yeah.
But has David got one of the biggest targets on his back coming into?
Oh, definitely. He's the only person on the Australian tribe who's won a season. So, I mean, and, if they were clever, they'd think, well, let's just vote him out. But he's very personable. I mean, that's how he got to where he is in the world. And can he win them over? Is Luke going to stay with him? Is it just going to be against George? Is George going to just go in there and be against him straight away? Or is George going to think, well, I have to align with a big threat?
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see what they're going to do.
Exactly.
It really is. Yeah, well, I guess let's start talking about his friends. So we've already mentioned it before, but Luke Toki, they're one of the most tightest duo in Australian Survivor history. Richard, do you reckon this is still going to continue over into this new season?
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, if you look at the relationship the first time they played, they were really tight. And I think the fact that they were navigating that 7v2 sort of like minority situation together and they survived definitely strengthened their bond. I mean, even outside the game, they're like best friends. They have a podcast together. So definitely, I think coming into this game, them being friends is a huge advantage.
Yeah. But Michelle, do you reckon there'll be some kind of like jealousy kind of thing where one might take the other one out because, like, no, I'm the big dog of the camp. You call yourself king of the jungle, but I'm God and God.
I can't see those two turning on each other.
Yeah.
But you know what? I can't see a lot of them turning on each other. I don't understand what's going to go on. I can't wait till it comes on because, he's got a connection to Sarah, Luke, obviously Shani, Janine, Parvati on the other tribe. So
he's the most connected,
Yeah. And that's a great segue as well because there's a massive Luke group. It's almost like the ex-champions plus Sarah. Because obviously he played alongside Janine, was very close with Janine and with Sarah as well. But we did see that, you know, the Daisy was part of the blind side, and David like put off one of the greatest moves in Survivor history by flushing 2 eyes to get rid of Daisy. Do you think he might try something dramatic like that with Janine as well?
I don't know.
It's David. Of course he's gonna try. Because I'm not sure. I'm assuming you guys watched The Apprentice. When David eventually got taken out, part of it was because Janine had a huge influence in, you know, her not liking his contribution to the group, even though I thought he did amazing. So I feel like maybe you could include that as part of a storyline to get vengeance, because we know David likes a good vengeance story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess as well, Janine, while she's a huge name in Australia, she's not necessarily a huge name in terms of the group of cast coming onto the Australian sort of tribe. So I do think in David's best interest is better for him to stick with the big names. Like we saw them at the start of the promo, right? Where it's David, Luke, Shawnee, and George all walking up with the Australian flag behind them.
How good's that?
Is that, yeah, which is so great. So dramatic, but so awesome.
Yeah.
Is that maybe David's best interest? Keep all the big names around.
Maybe.
Like
Maybe. I mean, he might hold a grudge against Janine for, you know, voting him out. Janine and Pia and someone else. I don't know. They work together to get him out. So maybe he hasn't forgotten that, and he's going to go in there and say, George, let's vote out Janine straight away. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe let's talk about George for a second, because David was like the hot topic for Australian Survivor. You know, for the first 5 seasons, 4 and 5, David's big character. George comes along next season, and now George is almost the face of Australian Survivor for the next few seasons. Are they going to be able to work together, Michelle?
I don't think so. They are so different. But they literally are. Those two are the face of Australian Survivor. Literally.
Yeah.
I don't even think a girl comes close to getting up to their caliber. They are it. And, you know, can two big dogs ever work together and not be wanting to kill each other underneath it all?
But maybe you could make the same argument about when when David made an alliance with the Godfather. It was a thing of, we're in separate alliances, let's work together, because no one would expect the big dogs to sort of like work together. I mean, if anyone, it would be interesting to watch, but personally, I like George more than I do David, and I don't care how the season goes, as long as George outlasts David, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, for Michelle, like, is that maybe the strategy for David to try and get out a player like George, since like it is kind of a snake in the grass kind of thing of, well, get me later, so should I just squash the cockroach now, then wait for him to become like a wetter and demolish me later?
Depends if they win immunities.
Yeah,
I'm hoping Australia wins immunities and decimates the internationals, but then, you know, I don't want some of the internationals to go. So it's like a double-edged sword there. And you know, David's featured in the promo really heavily. Does that mean he's going a long way, or does that mean he's an early boot and we're just getting, you know, that sort of content out at the beginning to get people in, and then he's gone? Like, where is it going?
Just a couple of comments that I do want to cheekily read out. I'm so sorry, it's been going by, you know, pretty fast, but David won't be first boot at least. However, once an easy vote is out, he's in a lot of trouble. If you break up the Luke group, David is probably the target first. And David apparently does not like George. Luke and George ain't playing together at all. And he worked with Matt because it benefits him. However, David already enters in a tribe with a built-in alliance. Why shake it up?
But it's David.
It is David.
Yeah.
And one thing we do know about David is that he loves to make exciting TV, right?
Exactly.
So maybe he will try and work things with George, but also it's a 16-day season. You know, should he just try and just sprint for the very end to play a very dominating game, or try and play smartly and keep all the big names around? Like, Michelle, if you're in David's position, what do you think he should try and do?
I personally would align with another big dog like George. That's what I would do, because you want to keep your enemies close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. I don't know what he's going to do.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Well, a player that we haven't really chatted much about, Richard, who did play with David, is Shawnee. Do you reckon there's much of a relationship there that David can forge with Shawnee?
I mean, I don't know. I think the relationship between them two can go either way. Either Shoni works with David, or she could work with anyone else, because she's so social. I feel like she has good relationships with everyone, that it lets her sort of like have many paths to the end. So whether it's with David or without David, I don't think it matters for her. She's that socially good.
Yeah. And what about with Kirby, Michelle? Can you see much really happening there with
Interesting.
Kirby?
I'm wondering where she's going to align.
Yeah. It must be so hard being like very clear the newest player on the block. I don't think Kirby has seen any Survivor. I hope she did before coming out to do Australia versus the world. But maybe there's a chance where she's just like, who are you?
I think Kirby's met George.
Yes.
At a party or at a couple of parties. They weren't together at one of my viewing parties. They were at different ones. But I think they've met before, which might be good for George. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at it from this way. Have you guys noticed that in the 2 seasons George has played, he always aligns with like an older woman? It's very interesting. Yeah. The first it was I forgot her name. Was it Carla?
Cara.
Yes, Cara. Yes. And then in the other season, I think this season the only person that fits that archetype is Janine, but and Kirby. So I think those two George is definitely going to align with one of them. It makes sense.
Yeah, I could see like George trying to pull in a Kirby, maybe a Shawnee, because I think as we've as Gabe has kind of pointed out, I feel like Luke and David, they kind of shield each other almost. Luke is
but as I saw that from Gabe, Luke is a big dog already, but I'm meaning a big dog who's like your enemy. I'm meaning someone who can get you. Luke's not going to get David. So I'm talking about aligning with, a big enemy sort of thing. And Kirby and Luke did work together apparently over in WA. I don't know how close. I don't think it's been close, but they have.
Yeah, and also I feel George and Kirby are in a worse position, but as fans, we don't to go. Yeah, that's a hard thing about this cast, Michelle. There are too many lovable people. Like, can we just not vote anyone out? Yeah, just 16 days of everyone just hanging out, cracking some beers, and
it's gonna be so hard.
Easy show.
That'd be an easy Survivor. You'd like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about Parvati. They had. I don't even know how to describe their relationship in Deal or No Deal
Mom and Dad.
It was literally a mum and dad. Like they got together, they got married, they had 2 amazing kids, in Dixon and Maria Grace.
Yeah.
And they were the big dogs of the show. They took out Dr. Will. They like socially strategically weaseled their way around the game into Parvati. She lost to the banker, and then David moved on to win the season. How do we think the relationship is going to affect this season? Do you think a lot of people are going to know about the relationship they have, or?
I think they'll keep it so quiet. They won't even acknowledge each other too much. They'll just say the basics. They don't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
Unless they were cast, unless people knew what the cast was before they even filmed Deal or No Deal, and they knew who the cast was going in. And Luke might already know a lot about it. David might have told him. And Parvati may have told Sari. I don't know. You never know. Or they might be keeping it on the down low. It's just all these little relationships. It's just fun.
Can't wait.
Yeah. That's going to be so great. But also at the same time, Richard, it is such a short season, right? I feel like if it was like a longer season, then maybe it would be like a huge alliance could be, expecting to work together. But since it's a short season, I feel like everyone's just going to be swinging massive. So isn't it time for the Black Widow to maybe be like, you know what? I'm going to be the one to take down the Golden God. So do you think that's something that could potentially happen? Or is it like a Luke alliance where it's like, nah, they're going to stick together?
No, I don't think Poverty taking out David really helps the game that much, because obviously they have a relationship from outside. They don't know Dylan and David was. I think this game will be a thing where David sort of like owes Poverty like a favor back, and that favor is including or letting Poverty be part of that social web, of him, Sarah, all these. To talk about a Black Widow in a social web. She's gonna thrive. Everyone loves already. So especially Shoni. I think those two are also gonna be friends. So I think David's definitely gonna try integrate her into it. And then maybe, I don't know, David will go out in some weird way. But I doubt it's gonna be Poverty backstabbing him. I mean,
I think if they both get to merge, I think they'll work together to bring in their own little, alliances so they can get further.
Yeah. Can you imagine a Final Four, Parvati, Suri, Luke, and David?
Oh my God, beautiful!
Can you imagine if that actually happens? That would actually be nuts. That'd be so crazy.
No, how about a Rob, George, David, and Tony? Like, oh my God!
Yeah, steroids. It's crazy.
Actually, I cannot wait. We saw a little bit of it in the promo, but I can't wait for David and Rob to start wrestling each other in the dirt,
Yes.
It's going to be so exciting.
Oh,
with the slide and everything. Oh, it looks so great. Well,
so
I guess, to sort of almost cap things off with David, who are some other players who could potentially work with on the World Tribe?
Do you think Tony, a winner, will try and do something with David because he's a winner as well, and Tony might think, well, we're both targets?
Maybe.
I don't think Sari would do anything with David.
No.
But Siri, I think part of Siri's mentality is to take out people she views as threats, and I think the person who's probably the highest threat in the game outside of Tony is David. So I see Siri trying to make that move to get David out so that Poverty is more closer to her. It makes so much sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would that conversation go? Siri with Parvati trying to convince her to take out David. Is that going to work?
Can you imagine if Siri? Yeah. Can you imagine if Siri tries to convince David to give up individual immunity?
Not gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. That'd be so funny. And David's just like, "What are you doing, bro?"
Individual immunities when he was on. He won one in his first season. Because he wasn't there for long after merge, but he only won 3 in the next. I always thought he was a challenge beast, but it was 3. I mean, he won some rewards, but for immunities, it was only 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more of like that pre-merge challenge beast, similar to like a Jonathan Young from season 42, was like just physically in all the challenges pre-merge, he is so dominant in it, but maybe when it comes to more individual endurance space, maybe he doesn't really have that body to really, keep on going, especially with some of the players he's going up against. He's going up against like Parvati, who's really good at endurance challenges, like Kirby, which needs to crack the notch. Yeah.
Any of the ones where they have to hang on to things, if Parvati and Sarah are still there, it's just going to be those two hanging wherever they're hanging.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess just one thing I do want to read out. Mucky, I thought you wanted Suri to be evacuated. Yes, but at like the final 4, final 3, like it's got to be in a spot where she's guaranteed to win. Like she's like maybe at the final day, it's like her and I don't know, Rob Benatale or like Janine or like Tommy and Lisa, or maybe just like nobody. Maybe they bring in Cochrane again as a reward, right? And then she's at the very end with Cochrane, but then she gets medically evacuated on the final day, and Cochrane wins by default. That's my expectation.
Making me think about the 50 cast reveal, and I just get angry. So stop talking about anyone from the US.
Well, I guess to wrap things up about David, how far is it going, Michelle? You talked about it already. He's in the promo a lot. The only winner on the cast, is he one of the biggest names on the cast as well?
I think he's either targeted early or he goes far after merge. God, if we had to do that thing that we had to do for
ranking, a prediction.
Australian Survivor, where they go, I'm sorry, I couldn't do that. I couldn't.
I do plan on doing that after we've gone through all the players. It's just going to be like, what's it? 12 people make merge and do winner picks.
No one's going out first.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah.
What if David wins a car, Ronnie? That the last person who won a car didn't go out. It didn't get the curse, did they?
Yes.
Someone didn't get the curse.
Oh, there was Mark Warnock.
Yes, him.
Times vs Rebels. Did anyone
Dino
win a car?
On Survivor SA. Yeah.
True.
Dino. It was Dino. Yes.
Dino, yeah. Did anyone win a car on Brains vs Brawn 2?
There was no car reward because the car company wasn't, I think, sponsoring the season.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Different sponsor. Yeah.
But I can actually see him being the second boot in the Australian tribe. Yeah, I mean, it's hard,
Gabe?
right?
Who's the first then? Who's the first? You're going to say George, aren't you, Gabe? He's going to say George.
George is going to find an idol. That's not going to happen. Like,
George will have an idol, won't he?
Yes.
He'll go in and just find an idol under a rock.
Yeah. So
exactly.
He says George.
You say George.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do agree with Gabe, and we'll talk more about George once we do the podcast, about George. But it's Dino's gonna be the first boot.
I wish Dino was playing, but I wouldn't want to get rid of Rob, so I wish it was Rob and Dino actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard because I recall when the announcement first came out and Chris was like, Mucky, I've got the cast. I know who's going to be on the rumored cast. He told me that there was one South African player, and I was like really breaking it down. Okay, Chappies, Rob, Dino, potentially Marion. I thought Marion could have potentially been casted. Maybe Tony is someone who I thought could have been casted as well. I was like really trying to break it down, and it was just it was just Rob. Hello, lovely people. Maybe this will be the season I watched all the way through. I got halfway through Brains with Spawn, lost interest.
God, you got to finish this all the way through.
Yeah, you 100% will. But you also got to make it through, Ellen. It's such a I think Brains vs Brawn 2 is probably up there with one of my favorite seasons in Australian Survivor. It's just so funny. I loved it. And Ken George is a tattoo.
Yeah, just any of them. That's what I haven't researched because I said to you I thought George had a third tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't researched it.
Yeah, it's one on his chest and one on his hand or something. Maybe.
Yeah, well, that was from the first. They were from his 2 seasons, but I'm pretty sure he's got another one.
Yes, highly likely.
Well, Michelle, you're in Australia. Just be like, hey, George, can we just have a casual catch up? You just want to have a drink. Drive off, Michelle. We need this information, okay?
Yes. No, I don't have any reason to catch up. He's flown out anyway. He's flown out somewhere tonight. I don't know where he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. On his socials.
I blame the daylight savings thing for my lack of interest. I couldn't get everything done before 6:30 Queensland time, so I just gave up. Yeah, one of my best mates, Nathan, he don't have the excuse this time, but this season was also shorter. Yeah, one of my best friends, Nathan, he was covering the season with me at the start, but then he missed 1 week. He's like, oh, I'll catch up. But then 3 hours turned into 6 hours. He's like, oh, no, I just can't. He'd just gotten a job as well. So he's like, how can I watch 6 hours of Survivor, study, and work at the same time?
Suicide.
With Australian Survivor, if you miss a week, it's like you missed a month.
Yeah, exactly.
So
3-4 hours of watching. It's insane.
And so much happens as well each week. I feel, especially with Brains of Spawn 2, what you think will happen, it just gets turned upside down, thrown off a cliff, and done cheeky roly-polies all the way down. You can just never predict what's going to happen next. But how about you, Richard? Pre-merge, post-merge, first boot, winner pick. Where's David going for you?
I think he's going to be an early merge boot. It makes the most sense because he's too well connected in his original tribe. But I feel like if people are smart especially given his physical prowess, they have to get rid of him at merge, when merge starts or the vote after. Normally makes sense.
Yeah. The only thing I'm sort of thinking about is that since it's such a short season, right? I sort of talked about when we did our World Tribe breakdown and our Australian Tribe breakdown. There's so many massive wild cards. Kirby, David, Luke, George, Tony as well. I wonder how many of them are just going to go out sprinting, similar to Tony in Game Changers, just sprint off and try to find the idol straight away, or you got this like Rob and David, like clearly the biggest guys in the tribes. Why not just try and just win all the challenges to the end? Like they could probably do it, right? And so how much of it's going to be them just doing wild stuff because it's a short season? But also, like, is physical assets really going to matter that much? So maybe they do take out someone like a David super early. We need a 24-hour faith.
Like a Big Brother thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure when I asked you guys to be on this podcast, it was meant to be. We're just going to sit here, talk about every single player individually in one go for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to sit here, wait. I hope you guys got your leave and for work and study. We're just going to sit here and talk. Maybe we'll give Roblox Survivor a go. Yeah.
At the end, we would look like we'd be on an island because we'd be
like
disheveled, hungry, and really angry with each other.
Exactly. They're all there to win. They're all fans that won't be coming back for a paycheck. I mean, I feel like some of them probably came in for the paycheck as well.
Otherwise they wouldn't have agreed. A huge one.
But I think as well, like I know this is going off topic a wee bit as well, but like with like Tony, Parvati, I mean, I know Ceri's going to be on 50, but I think a big thing for Tony and Parvati at least is they're not going to be targeted straight away. They're playing with people on an equal sort of playing field, if that sort of makes sense. Whereas if they went on 50, they probably would be the early boots, especially seeing with the casters, they definitely would have been the first early boots, being the only big names on. So, yeah. Anyways, that does sort of bring us towards the end of the podcast. Any final closing remarks on David before we move on?
David.
All I'm going to say is I hope George outlasts David. I'd be happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't want him to win.
Okay.
He's the Aussie winner already. I want someone else to win.
But you don't want him. You don't want him to be Australia's first 2-time winner, though?
No. He's one deal or no deal. That's fine. He's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like with David, so I want him to go far, but I'm personally heavily rooting for Luke. I really want Luke to get this win, or Sarah to win as well, because why hasn't she come back already? So if she wins, this will pretty much be like yes, she did deserve to come back, with every chance, like heroes versus villains, all stars, etc. But yeah, oh, here we go. Richard is back. We've got 2 Richards.
How could there be 2 Richards?
There we go.
Yes. Badger
Ceri there for a holiday and coin. I'm just glad Australian Survivors actually decided to do a world season. Jeff probably too stubborn to do it on US Survivor. JLP be like, excellent. More people to use in your windows on. And I think David won't go far. They'll take him early. Well, yeah, that's pretty funny because did you guys see when he was doing the season 50 cast reveal, he was like a record-breaking 24 castaways on Survivor.
Yeah, man.
I was like, no, we've seen and done that. Yeah. And it looks like it's 3 tribes of 8 as well. It's like, okay, it's like copy my homework, but don't make it too obvious, And Ronnie thinks Sarah. Hopefully Sarah takes out the win. Well, yeah, that does sort of bring us to the end of our podcast. Michelle, have you got anything new and exciting you'd like to share with everyone? Anything you'd like to promote?
Not only you in the Survivor world. That's it. Otherwise, my own world. I'm actually going to be with a different podcaster this weekend, Mucky. Oh my God!
You're cheating on me? You're cheating on me, Michelle? How dare you?
I'm not actually doing a podcast, though. I'm going to a birthday event. So it's
why would you do it at my birthday? I mean, I never invited you, but why would you do it? It was crazy.
She owes you a bun.
Yeah, you owe me a bump. I'll show you owe me a bump.
Yeah. So that's it.
Also, and how about you, Richard? Anything cool and exciting you'd like to checkly promote?
Oh, nothing much, mate. I just can't wait to watch more Survivor, whether it's 50 or 49 or Australian versus the world. Anything Survivor related, I'll take it.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Subscribe for cheeky, naughty times.
What is
We're gonna check it
that?
when you What is what? The weekly
That's
face.
new.
Yeah, well,
Only
I mean,
Muckies. Only
yeah, yeah, subscribe for my OnlyFans. Hi, Richard, Michelle, etc.
Hey,
cheers,
Brendan.
Brendan. So glad to catch the end of this live. I
Yeah.
did a podcast recently on Squid Game. Squid Game is just around the corner,
Ooh.
guys. Like
Coming
what?
back.
Can't wait.
20
It's gonna be
days.
so cool.
Yeah.
20 days from today, guys. It's gonna be absolutely crazy. I'm so excited to see Squid Game. So keep an eye out. I'll be doing more Squid Game coverage. Also, just random bits and bobs. Like I saw
Yeah.
War ages ago. Loved that. You know, what is it? Final Destination came out. Have you guys seen Final Destination?
Yeah.
No. Apparently it's
Just-
good.
It's pretty
Yes,
funny.
it's always good. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was literally bursting out with laughter in the cinema, and everyone's like, "What the hell, Mucky? People are dying," and I just found it so funny.
That's why I love it. Like the crazy ways people. It's like Saw. You know how 1,000 Ways to Die. When people die in weird ways, I'm like, I want to watch it.
Yeah, like I think at one point a kid got hit by a piano, and I just lost it. I was just bursting. I was crying. It was just
Crazy.
yeah.
What?
I've just moved house and managed to cook dinner in my new oven. Oh, congrats on the new oven, Alan! Without burning the house down, so that's a win. Honestly, as someone who has literally set fire to my oven, yeah, it is a
Really?
win.
You
Yeah,
need
well,
to,
to be
you need to go
was it-
outside and cook on a campfire.
Yes.
Well, no, it's because
Something.
my cousin was making fun of me for not using any like the baking paper and stuff. So he chucked in some, close it up, because my stove and oven gets from 0 to 100 like within seconds. It gets
Quick.
so hot so quickly, and
It's
yeah,
like
just
a
the paper.
Ferrari.
Just, vroom. I know, vroom, vroom. There goes
It's
my
not
stove.
supposed to, but that paper's not supposed to burn.
Yeah, it literally set on fire. So I just don't use
Yes.
baking paper. I just chuck it straight in. Straight in. And is Australia the winner? Reckon loving the podcast. Thank you so much, Liam. You are an absolute
Liam.
G. I will unsubscribe.
Oh, righty.
And Tony vs. David would be an epic battle if they were both on the same tribe. Well, maybe the merge Michael as a fellow Michael to another
Oh.
Michael. That would be the dream come true. But yeah,
Yeah.
subscribe for Cheeky Naughty Times. Hit the like button and comment us down below. What do you think about David? Is he going far? Is he not going far? Let us know your thoughts. Our next player we're going to be talking about is, take a guess, Richard. Who's the next player?
George.
No. I'll give
What?
I'll give you one clue. It's someone on the world tribe.
Poverty.
Poverty! There we go. We'll be here chatting about poverty. So until next time, guys, kakite anō, and I'll catch you on the next live. Take it easy, guys. Bye.
Bye.